Someone wrote it and said, you talk about how not to fall in love, but how do you extricate yourself when you realize you're not with your species, a really bad fit, but those cocaine addiction chemicals are still happily trumping through your system?
Mm.
This is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
Cathy from theintimacydojo.com.
It's a great question.
Woo! You know you have a drug problem, but you can't seem to quit it.
Well, it is very addictive. I mean, it's a lovely feeling when you find somebody that you're connected with, you've broken through the social fears, and you're like there, and then you're like, oh, bad fit, but oh, I want that high feeling, that dopamine hit.
Well, and then there's also things can be further complex for a lot of people. We don't know with this situation, but maybe you've already moved in. I lived in New York City for 20 years, so it's like people fall in love and move in immediately just to cut down their living expenses because the city is so expensive. So like there could be financial situations or kids involved. I've had some amazing friends of mine, single moms and single dads, who didn't want to break up because the relationship their child was having with the other adult was what the kid needed, right? So I'm just saying, like, things are often sometimes way more complex than just the chemical high. And we want to take that into account because sometimes my advice, I won't speak for yours, is very oversimplified. But we do need to acknowledge and try to be as kind and compassionate as we can for how the chemistry can also be happening while a situation is complex. That being said, my biggest piece for the healthiness of a relationship, even when you're stoned, is can you talk about this? Have you exercised your muscles in that relationship to be able to talk about what you're afraid to talk about? And can you have those conversations in a pretty, emotionally high IQ, treat people kindly, even when you're having the feels? If you can have those kinds of conversations and navigate them, that's the most important thing, because eventually the high will wear off, and you'll at least both be able to have a conversation sober about the bad fit and then what to do next.
And I'm curious too, when you say it's a really bad fit, are you looking at it as what's your concept of what the relationship looks like? Because they may be a wonderful fit for friends with benefits, or like it might, if you can redefine what you're looking for, you might actually be able to keep the oxytocin high and the good parts of the fit, and let go of some of the expectations of the things that don't fit. If you decide that this is just somebody who you should not have in your life, cutting it off and not re-experiencing that high with them is really important, as well as trying to get some dopamine, some chemicals to your system in other ways, whether you go for massages, invite friends to drag you out of the house to have good times. But that will help offset a little bit of the chemical response is very strong. So re-experiencing it with them just increases the bonding. Whereas reminding your body you can get some of that oxytocin from other ways can really help alleviate. It doesn't make it go away, unfortunately, but it can help alleviate some of the withdrawal. Yeah,
a transition or a breakup is still going to impact you. And the biggest thing is to just understand that a lot of people, rather than handle the hangover, have a rebound relationship.
Yeah.
So be mindful that get your monkey needs and your serotonin and dopamine fixes from your friends and from social activity. Start a new hobby that is a social hobby. Probably not computer coding, but like dance, partner dance or something like that. And hang out with your friends, and that will ease often the feels and the withdrawals, and beef up on your grieving protocols. Like, how can you grieve and do better self-care for yourself? Because my parents didn't teach me how to grieve, and American culture certainly is horrible at it. So beefing up on those things. Is it Brene Brown that has a good book on grieving? Yeah. So, maybe distract yourself by reading and learning, and beef up on those, the information and the tools that will help you get through things. That's just useful for life.
And you recommend in your any bad relationship program not seeing that person from you make an agreement. We're not going to see each other for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, it's 3 to 6 months. I really tell people at least a year. Don't see each other for a year. That is the best advice I can give you.
Which is harder if you're in the same social community.
And most people can't agree to a year, so I tell you 3 to 6 months, but I'm telling you it's a year. Just trust me. And under no circumstances, if you're supposed to be breaking up, try to have sex with that person.
I think everybody's done that.
I'm trying to quit this drug. I'm just gonna have a little. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Cold turkey is often the hardest.
Short term.
And
is the easiest one.
Yeah, it's like don't go back to the dentist 4 times and have them pull your wisdom teeth out a half each way. Pull the whole thing. Usually, if it is truly you are destined to not be live-in lovers and life partners, but fuck buddies forever, you can transition that, but that's a little bit trickier, but it can be done. And in which case, probably just email me for advice and maybe a coaching session or something, because that's a little bit more than we can talk about.
And one thing I really want to encourage you, I love that you have the consciousness that it's a bad fit now. A lot of people are lost in the chemicals and they don't notice those things. Sadly, a lot of people wait until there's enough bad blood and resentments between the two of them to push them apart, which that's a big waste of time and energy for both people. Yep. And you're not interacting with other people during that time. So if it's not a good fit, it's better to pull the Band-Aid back. Yeah,
you don't have to have a crash and burn to walk away from something with some sort of respect. You can do it earlier and consciously. It's still going to suck sometimes, but I think that's being grown up. Comments. Leave some comments.
Did we answer all your questions? Did this help?
Hit subscribe. Share this video with a friend. If you share it with the person that you're trying to break up with, that might be a little weird.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my social media, it's right there. And please subscribe to this channel there. If you'd like to see more goofy Reid and Cathy, there's more videos there.
See them. Why are they there?